A chaotic, meantime, truly disturbing scene unfolding outside Manhattan Criminal Court earlier today as a man set himself on fire. Just horrifying beyond words. While inside that courthouse, a full jury of 12 New Yorkers and 6 alternates were finally seated in President Trump's hush money criminal trial. Now, opening statements are expected to begin on Monday.
Meanwhile, Trump continued his calls for the judge to remove the gag order that's been placed on him.
I have to be released of a gag order. They've taken away my constitutional rights to speak, and that includes speaking to you. I have a lot to say to you, and I'm not allowed to say it. And I'm the only one. Everyone else can say whatever they want about me. The truth. I'm only telling the truth. They're not telling the truth. The judge has to take off this gag order. It's very, very unfair that my constitutional rights have been taken away.
Joining us now to discuss the future of this case, former U.S. Attorney and Right on Crime Executive Director Brett Tolman. Brett, great to see you. The fact that Michael Cohen can go on television virtually every night and Jackie Jaw and Jawbone about this, and President Trump has a gag order hanging over him, does the judge lift it? Is that a possibility?
Hey again, Sean, thanks for having me on. I will tell you that in my 25 years in the criminal justice system, I have never seen a gag order like this. And here's what I mean by that. Anytime it's imposed, its primary focus is to protect the defendant. And when it is imposed, it's typically to rein in either the government or witnesses that might prejudice a jury. It also is applied to everybody in the case. This, you can see politics entering in the judge's decision-making. This is applying to one individual that they're targeting and prosecuting, which I have not seen before. And then they're not applying it to anyone else in the case. I would think that an appellate court, the Supreme Court at the least, is going to look at this and say it is absolutely unconstitutional, has no rational basis for the order by the judge.
And Brett, if you look at the case itself, I mean, the fact that that Donald Trump has a gag order, look at the charges in New York City, and I don't know how one doesn't conclude this actually isn't election interference, stopping Donald Trump from publicly defending himself, as everyone else is talking about the guilt of Donald Trump is insanity.
Well, I'm on the record for saying that no thoughtful, intelligent prosecutor would bring this case. There are 2 pieces of evidence in this case. The statement by Stormy Daniels that the payment was not, as it is purported to be. And then the statement by Michael Cohen in which he indicated that he paid with his own money and was later reimbursed. Then you add on top of that the Department of Justice declining to bring this as an election campaign violation. And what you have is a prosecutor that has thrown away the rule of law and indicated that the facts don't really matter. What they'll rely on is the ability to persuade a jury that they should convict. Can it be done? Absolutely it can, but it is not based on a sufficiency of the facts given the theory of the case here.
We want to shift gears to this, the FISA fight dragging on into the last round as the surveillance tool used to spy on foreigners and sometimes Americans is set to expire at midnight. Brett, you were former chief counsel for crime and terrorism for the Senate Judiciary Committee, and in 2005, you worked on balancing the need for espionage, spying tools, and proper safeguards for FISA. Sean and I know that a lot of the safeguards that Republicans wanted in this law, in this bill, didn't wind up there.
That's right, Dagan, and it's very haunting for me personally. So what they do is they bring in someone like the Speaker, the Senate, leadership, and then their counsels, like myself and others who have experience in national security, and they put you into classified briefings, DOJ, FISA, intelligence community. They put you in classified briefings and they scare you. And they make you believe that if you do not renew this or expand on the power, that our national security is in jeopardy, our country's in jeopardy, and they've been doing it over and over. Well, at the same time, Jim Comey himself and others, his predecessors, will indicate we will not use this to violate Americans' rights. Now we know over 250,000 instances of violating American citizens' rights, just under 702. So it is a gambit that they play. I have urged the senators and members of Congress, do not give into this. Do not let them persuade you. Do not sacrifice our civil liberties out of the fear of a future national security problem.
Brett, I've been in the room like you have. When you craft laws, you oftentimes expect that good people are going to implement those laws. But obviously, we've seen abuses. A lot of House members, Republicans, have mandated that a warrant should be used to access that data on American citizens. Would you agree with that? Is that appropriate?
100%, Sean. I mean, you're exactly right. We have the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments for a reason. There is no national security exception to our due process rights. It is sacrosanct in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and we have whittled away, those civil liberties and protections out of an interest in national security. But what we really have done is emboldened and empowered the intelligence community in this country to be able to use it against citizens without accountability and certainly no transparency.
Brett, didn't think I could like you much more than I already did, but you just managed to accomplish that. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Brett.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Brett Tolman.